Hi, my name is Ryan Calejo, and I'm the author of Charlie Hernandez and the League of Shadows, which I was so excited to hear was a Blue Bonnet selection for this year. I just want to say a big thank you to the Texas Librarian Association for nominating my book. So thank you. It's a tremendous honor. And now I'm going to answer a few of your questions. So question number 1. How much of this book is autobiographical? Do you have friends like Violet? Okay, so I'm going to be honest. A lot of this book is autobiographical. I'm bilingual just like Charlie. Growing up, my abuelas taught me all the same myths and legends that Charlie's abuela taught him. We have the same favorite food. And almost every place Charlie and Violet visit in the book are places that I love to hang out at or ride my bike near when I was their age. And yeah, in case some of you are wondering, I did sprout feathers once in the middle class. Okay, so maybe I didn't sprout them, but I glued them on my arm during arts and craft, which is basically the same thing, right? And to answer the second part of the question, do you have friends like Violet? I would say I have a few friends like Violet, but one in particular, her name's not Violet, but she's really smart and resourceful, like Violet is in the book, so yeah, they're pretty similar. Question number 2. What is your favorite mythical creature and why? Well, that's a really good question, and a tough one, because there's so many awesome myths and legends. But I guess if I had to pick just one, I would say calejo, which is a sort of guardian angel that takes the form of a huge white dog. And the reason I would say that is because when I was little, my neighbors had this huge white shepherd that would follow me around the neighborhood when I rode my bike, and like it was protecting me. And my abuelas pretty much convinced me that that dog was a calejo, which was fun. And plus I'm a huge animal lover, so I would definitely have to go with calejo. Question number 3. Can you tell us a little about your abuelas and how they inspired the story? Well, first of all, I'm so thankful for my abuelas. They were always a huge part of my life growing up, which is why in the book I wanted to make Charlie's abuela a huge part of his. And both of my abuelas were born outside the US. They immigrated here in the 1960s, and they were both amazing storytellers. It was all the wonderful myths and legends they told me and my brother and all my little cousins growing up that actually made me fall in love with stories and reading and just the fantastical in general. Of course, if they didn't teach me those legends and myths, I wouldn't have anything to put in my book. But not only that, well, the thing is that as I got older, I learned how important it was to preserve one's culture, and I realized that's exactly what my abuela had done for me by passing those stories down that had been around for hundreds of years. And so I was inspired to kind of try and do the same thing to keep these stories relevant and almost fresh for the next generation, just like my abuelas kind of passed them down to me. Question number 4. What can you tell us about the sequel? Well, the sequel's out now, so I don't want to say too much and spoil it for anyone who might be reading it. But what I can say is there's a whole slew of new mythical creatures and beings in it. And Charlie and Violet are going to be running around all over Central and South America. So they're going to get to experience and get a little taste of the cultures and places that inspired some of these amazing myths and legends as they try to solve a very interesting, very twisted mystery. And there's a ton of action adventure in the book, and of course a lot of laughs, so I hope all of you enjoy it. Question number 5. What advice would you give young authors and illustrators as they learn to improve their skills? So the advice I would give young authors is just to read. Read. It's the most important thing you can do to improve your skills, and probably the most important thing you can do at all. And for illustrators, I would say try all the different styles of art, because there's so many different mediums and techniques that you won't know which one you enjoy doing the most until you give it a try. And the second piece of advice would be to share your work with your friends, your family, your teachers, anyone who will look at it, because that's really one of the best ways to improve your work in general, but also to improve your skills. To hear that constructive criticism, what people thought worked and what didn't work, so you can kind of refine your skills. And the last piece of advice would be to never give up. Even if something you write or you publish doesn't get, if something you write or draw doesn't get published now, just keep improving your skills, keep trying, stick with it, and eventually, I promise, your dreams will come true. So that's it. I just want to give another big thank you to the Texas Librarian Association and to all of you for your wonderful questions. Bye.